Hey guys, it's Emily and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a little bit of a different video today. It's more just like a chatty sit down video. I usually write notes for my videos because otherwise I usually get right off task. And they usually kind of like help me with like hitting all the points I want to hit. But for this, we have no notes. So long. Oh, it didn't fall. Today I just wanted to do a little chatty sit down video talking about myths and kind of my burnout with them actually. Now, don't get me wrong, myths are one of my favorite parts of the game. I love the myth stories so much. They almost always end up in like my favorite of all the cards. They're very interesting stories that come with a lot of lore to them and give us backstory on the love interest past the main character. Having said that though, I think I'm a little tired of the alternate universe aspect to the myths. If you would ask me my favorite myth in the game, I would actually tell you it's Caleb's Far Space Fleet myth. That myth just gets me going. I'm so passionate about it. I love the way it ties the main story and the romantic components going on between Caleb and the main character very nicely. It feels like it's something that could be a part of the main story. It's very angsty. It makes you feel a lot of emotions. I feel like I was just crying throughout the whole thing when I read it. But like a good kind of crying, a very like passionate kind of crying. Whereas with like some of the other alternate universe myths, you know, I can only see the main character die so many times before it starts to lose meaning. Like I feel like with Raphael's, right? This is the first time we saw with our own eyes that MC died and how brutally she died. And we really felt like the impact of that because that was brutal. We also got to see it in Zane's God of Annihilation myth as well. I'm not going to completely include the King of Dark Knight and the Archfiend Sovereign myths just because, I mean, they also died with her. I don't really feel like we got to see the same kind of emotion of like just MC dying. I think it's definitely different. But I don't know when I'm uploading this, but hopefully it's before Caleb's myth comes out, which I'm sure MC's gonna die in that too. Pretty confident about that one, just given the little past we got here. I'm just kind of feeling like there's only so much we can really do here until things don't hit the same. I love like an alternate universe concept, but we've done it a lot now. I kind of hope that, I don't know if I'm assuming we're gonna get fourth myths just because I feel like the myths are the cash cow of the game. They're going to milk them all for what they're worth. But I think at some point people are gonna start losing interest, being like, okay, they're dying again, whoop-de-doo. And character death should have a significant meaning, and yes it does, like in the terms of like the main story obviously. Like the whole plot is, you know, MC dying and coming back to life and reincarnating all these different times and her kind of just coming out of nothing. With that being said, here's what I personally would like to see in the fourth myth, okay? I want Caleb's Far Space Fleet myth. Hear me out on this. Okay, so the thing is, the only two other myths that we have that are also set in the main story world are Silas's, Relentless Conqueror, I think is what it's called, that one, and Xavier's Lumiere myth. Xavier's Lumiere myth definitely has like lore to it that is sad, but I feel like Lumiere is definitely like a lot of fun too at the same time, which I don't really see in any of the other myths. The myths usually are, you know, like this is just gonna be a good time for the most part. And Xavier's story had like a really good balance of like, this is really sad, but also this is really entertaining and interesting, and like Xavier's kind of like a superhero and that's really fun. It's been a hot minute since I read Lumiere, so like I don't remember all of the specifics. I only read it one time. But that's like from my memory. And then we have Silas's Relentless Conqueror myth, which I'm not gonna lie is my least favorite myth in the game. And I think I've played all of them now. Yes, I have. So I can say that with confidence at this point. I think what Relentless Conqueror was trying to do was like show there's like different sides of Silas. I guess more in depth to his life, but it could have been a regular 5-star card and not a myth, and I couldn't tell the difference. I don't know if it really added much to Silas, especially like as being an intro to a character, especially when you're comparing it to Lumiere or the Far Space Fleet myth. This is where I'm like, where am I going with this? Like, what's my point here? I think what I want to see going forward is more main story stuff. And like, I think we can all agree that main story was definitely lacking in 2025. And not in the sense, like, the stuff we got of main story was great. But the fact of the matter is we only really got 2 updates in the main story. We got Caleb's introduction, and we had Silas and Zane in Death and Rebirth. And that was it. And while Xavier and Raphael got very good lore cards this year, we can think of Raphael's Banquet Ablaze for one, and also the Heartbeats Ablaze card. I'm blanking on the name of it. And Xavier got a lot of lore within his cards talking about his life on Philos, which is all great, fine, and dandy. And I love those cards, don't get me wrong. But I would just love to see the main story be prioritized a little bit more going forward. And what I mean by this is, like, you know, obviously we're not going to get consistent updates. I think they should update all the love interests in the main story at least once a year. I think that's the bare minimum that you can do, just because I think going over a year without an update in the main story of your favorite love interest is kind of ridiculous. So I think at the bare minimum it should be once a year. That's my personal opinion, at the bare minimum. But obviously they want to drag this game out, like, and the story out for as long as possible, to milk it for what it's worth, to get people interested and keep playing it. Like, I think in, what's it called? Mr. Love's New Choice, is that what it's called? I've only started playing the game. I'm, like, at the very beginning and I don't know much, but, you know, they're still trying to do different things in that story as well to get people interested and to keep the story going on for a long period of time, because I don't think Lads is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. So maybe while we're not getting as many main story updates, I think myths that are set in the main story timeline could help the lack of main story updates. You know, if we're getting these myths, but they're in the main story timeline with the established, like, also romantic combination, I think, on top of it, you know, because we don't get romance in the main story technically, in the sense of, like, she's not technically dating any of them. You can maybe imply it that way, like, you could see it, like, oh, like, for example, like, with Feverish Attempts, you know, like, you could see through the romantic lens of, like, oh, at this point in time, they're probably dating in, like, the dating version of this. Does that make sense? I think that was a really weird way to word it, but I don't know how else to do it at, but I would just like to see more ways to develop the story further, because I think these alternate universe stories are gonna only do so much, and I think there's only so long they can really last before the impact isn't there anymore. We can only see, like I said before, we can only see the main character die so many times before it just, we don't care anymore. Like, oh, she died again. For how many times is that now? 5 bajillion, right? And there's only so many things, like, you know, ways that we can reincarnate the other characters as well. Like, what, is Silas gonna be a fairy in his next myth? I dare you. Love in Deepspace. That would be really funny, but I don't think they're gonna. Fairy Silas 2026, y'all. Could be like a fairy godmother. This is ridiculous. This is a joke. I'm kidding. Unless, if someone wants to write that, it's free, take it. I love the long hair we got. Like, I love these myths for what they are. I'm just kind of more so thinking in a future context, right? If we do get 4th myths, I think they're going to do that. Like I said, it's the cash cow. They would be stupid not to. Some people, like, I don't think we're gonna get, like, a 4th myth until around maybe September-ish, just based on patterns. I believe that Raphael's first myth came out, or, like, his second myth, technically, actually, but, like, his first limited myth came out in, like, March of 2024, and then the new one came out in June of 2025. So, or the 3rd myth, not the new one, but I mean, technically it's still the new one at this point in time. Until there's a 4th myth, it's still the new one. So let's see, okay, we got April, May, like 3-ish months in between there. So 3 months from June is September. So I think there's a good chance we're gonna get Raphael new myth September 2026. And I'd love to see it connected to his main story lore. I'd love to see it have some angst, you know. And if that doesn't happen, I think my second prediction is that it's gonna be, once again, this, like, alternate universe thing, and we're gonna get Siren Raphael. That's my theory I'm going with. Just because that's his lore, you know? Like, he's the god of the sea, he's Lemurians he got right, like, it's written there. There's that song that he played with the main character on that seashell, the conch, is that what it's called? I don't remember. Siren Raphael, it's either gonna be that, or maybe both, you know? We could have a main story Siren Raphael. I could see them doing that. That actually would work. Hear me out, okay? I know they could do this obviously with like a historical kind of context too, of like Raphael being very upset about him losing, you know, deep in his grief for MC. But I feel like, I don't know if it'd be deep in his grief. See, now I'm theorizing. See, this is why this is like off the cuff, like no script, because I'm theorizing. Okay, hear me out, okay? This became Raphael 4th myth predictions out of nowhere. Okay, but what if, because I like the Siren Raphael idea, I think it's actually pretty great. Because I guess there's 2 ways you could go about it. You could do it as Raphael is just deep in his grief over losing MC, but I feel like the people he has to blame for that is like Lemurian society. So I don't know if like that would necessarily be like the motivation. I think it would more so make sense that you could actually see, I think now that I'm talking about it, this more so makes sense in like the main story. He's like luring the people who have like done the Lemurian people wrong as a siren. I think I'm cooking here. I feel like that would actually really fit with like the kind of current story we're kind of going with, because in like his last few cards, like Banquet of Blaze and the Idol Banner one, whatever it was called. I'm so sorry. It's like one of my favorite cards. I can't. But whenever I think of Idol Banner, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Offbeat Track and Passionate Overload, and those are the only 2s I can name. Ignited Echoes. Oh my gosh, it came to me. I should start naming them, and then I was gonna figure it out. Okay, there we go. I just wrote the myth for 2026 September coming out. Siren Raphael, and he's, you know, getting revenge on the humans for what they've done to the Lemurian people by luring them. You know, there's a lot of ways they could kind of take the siren angle. Like they could obviously use the singing element to it, but it could just be like luring them in by like their greed and their desires and stuff like that. And like he could make like mirages kind of appear. That could be really interesting. There we go, boom. Because that way we kind of have the whole like fantastical kind of element to it. Because I think, you know, one of my wonders of like, okay, would they do another main story myth that's not just like a standard myth, because maybe you couldn't make the outfits look cool, but heck, you know what? Well, no, I think Merman Raphael is obviously my favorite of the companions we've got in terms of like looks. I mean, I love a merman. What can I say? I grew up with H2O Touch of Water and used to have a mermaid show on YouTube. So, you know, I like my own mermaid show. So, you know, I love a mermaid. I'm always going to. So Raphael, I think, is and obviously his companion is sick. I'm sorry. The other ones look really great as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that you can't, I think, defeat the glory of what Raphael looks like. He looks so majestic and gorgeous. But I think I've always been really in awe of all of the 3rd myth outfits. And heck, I even love Caleb's Colonel outfit. I like his X02 outfit too, but I'm like actually debating cosplaying the Colonel outfit. So I think we could get some like really still nice outfits out of this. I mean, if you look at it, like, okay, Silas's outfit is just what he kind of wears in the main story. You can kind of get the same thing in the chocolate shop, just without a cape. They really did Silas wrong with his Relentless Conqueror myth. I'm not gonna lie. Even when it came to the outfit, when it came to the companion itself, not that like it battles badly necessarily, but it's like, it's time to serve the main course. It's time. It's just she's saying that like all the time. Pun not intended, but anyways. Whereas like, you know, in comparison, we got like Lumiere. Lumiere's got a nice outfit. I love his little mask. You know, he looks great. And Caleb's Colonel outfit, I love it. I love it so much. He looks so good. Like, I never thought I loved a man in uniform until I saw Colonel Caleb. Dang, he wears it well. Like, and I don't really care for like the whole uniform thing. Like, people are like, men in uniform, I'm like, whatever. And I didn't care until Caleb, so Caleb does good. I think we could still get fun outfits. Like, I think they could still make it interesting, especially if we're doing Siren Raphael. We could get him like in some very like majestic kind of like formal wear. You could still make him look good. You could even like, here's a hot take, what if we free the foreheads, right? I know a lot of people have been talking about that on like Reddit I've seen. Bringing the foreheads, you know, it's what the people want. So we could free the foreheads for the 4th myth instead of the long hair. So we're still getting some like new hair outfit style. Anyways, in conclusion, I want to say I do really enjoy the oh my goodness, not the OUs, the AUs, the alternate universe stories. I love the myths. I just think I'm feeling a little fatigued, and I would like them to do something a bit different and maybe not have MC die, because let me tell you, you can still make me cry without MC dying. I think most of the times I actually have cried in this game is when MC didn't die, actually. or the love interest. Like, the times I can think of when I cried was the bar space fleet myth. As I said, lots of tears for that one. I think that was the most I cried in this game. She didn't even have to die for that. I also cried in Death and Rebirth during Zane's story. Let me tell you, these other men can make me cry too. And they don't have to die to do so. There's a lot of like angst in their storylines that we could work with. I know I just pitched only a Raphael idea, but that's all I got right now. I'll maybe think about what their fourth myth can be. I'm only really thinking about Caleb's third myth at this point in time before I'm theorizing fourth myths. But what I want is main story centric myths. That's what I would like to see. And then I think, you know, it would be more reasonable, like, if they did want to do, like, what they did this year, where we don't get a main story update in the second half of the year, which I hope that doesn't happen again. I would like this not to be a trend. I don't want this to be a trend next year. I want to get updates for all the men next year, otherwise I'm gonna be very upset. But if that did happen, because it's happened before, this way, I think, you know, if, like, Caleb or something didn't get an update next year, that would be awful. That'd be truly awful. I don't think that one's gonna happen. Then, well, actually, he's not gonna get a third myth next year. Okay, if, Zane didn't get an update. There we go, this one's gonna work better. If Zane didn't get an update next year, that would be great, actually, because I think actually seeing his return, I want something like feverish attempts for Zane when he makes his grand return in the main story. I'm trying to be vague with this, just in case you haven't played Death and Rebirth, because I don't want to, like, spoil it if you haven't played it, but there's a lot of like things that I think have happened in their relationship that I think when Zane gets a main story update, or even just having a myth to maybe peek into that a little bit of like what's going on with Zane, because ooh, that could be his grand comeback. Free his forehead. Zane comes back with like a whole new look. I could see them actually doing that because it makes sense. Things are gonna have happened to Zane like in this period of time that we don't have a main story update from him. So they could do interesting things with that. Anyways, that's all I have for you for this little rambly video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big like and no, that's what I was just asking to do. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more of this lovely face. I'm sucky at promoting my social media, but I from time to time post love and Deepspace content on my TikTok and my Instagram. So you can follow me on my Instagram, which is at choices_fangirl. And my TikTok is, I think, RibbleBooks101. No, it might be 102. It's one of the two. It's down below. So I've had to change these things from, like, for instances. So I'm either 101 or 102 that I just don't remember anymore. I also have an edits account called Rebel Edits 102 on Instagram and Rebel Edits 101 on TikTok. It's different because I forgot the login on one and my account got deleted on the other. So that's the reason. But yeah, if you want to, I post Love and Deepspace stuff on there. So if you want to check that out. I also post other things because on Choices Fangirl, you definitely see other things because I play other games such as Choices and Romance Club, and I post about those a bit as well. So anyways, check those out if you're interested. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Do you agree with me? You know, like I said, I love the myths. They're my favorite parts of the game, or one of my favorite parts of the game. Main story is my favorite part. Myths come at a close second. But I think I just want something to make me feel the way that Caleb's myth made me feel again. And I want something else like that, I think, in the game for the other characters as well, because I know they can do it. So, and I think, you know, there's only so many times for death to happen, you know, you can create angsty stuff without someone having to die for it. And we could get like these big explorations into their characters. Oh, it would be so good, okay? But let me know, are you a little tired of the alternate universe stories? Do you want something a little different? I hope it doesn't come across that I don't like these stories, because I really do. I think I've reiterated that like multiple times, but let me know your thoughts down below, anything that you have to say. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to chat in the comments, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. I guess whenever I decide to upload this, because I have no idea, because I think I'm filming this really far in advance. So anyways, I'll see you guys later.